Ilhan Omar and her husband are in some trouble. Ilhan Omar's husband's venture capital firm was caught scrubbing key officials from their website. And coincidentally, this comes right at a time where people are starting to question where they're actually getting their wealth from. According to reports, Ilhan has gone from nearly being broke to having a net worth of $30 million in just a year. And this comes right as a massive $9 billion fraud scheme involving the Somali community in her district is discovered on her watch. Close to 90 people have already been charged, including 3 people with direct ties to Ilhan. And not only that, but Ilhan, who's of Somali descent, was seen in a resurfaced video handing out food at a restaurant that's at the center of the scandal. And to make matters worse, it was Ilhan who introduced legislation that people are saying laid the groundwork for what feds are calling the largest fraud of the pandemic. Ilhan introduced the Meals Act, which relaxed oversight of government-sponsored children's meals program during the pandemic, which critics say that allowed for people to claim that they served millions of meals without any verification, while simultaneously pocketing millions of dollars in government subsidies. Shortly after the scheme played out, Ilhan Omar's husband and political consultant Tim Minette launched Rose Capital, a venture capital management firm, in 2022. The company saw its reported value go from nearly zero in 2023 to between $5 million and $25 million in just a year. Between September and October of this year, federal prosecutors announced charges against 8 individuals, 6 of them being of Somali descent. And it was at this point that Rose Lake Capital started to scrub their website and removed 9 officers and advisors from their website, none of which have been officially charged. And to make matters worse, Ilhan Omar's husband's other businesses, including a California winery, have also previously faced fraud allegations. The winery was considered a failure in 2023. Then, all of a sudden, it was worth between $1 and $5 million in 2024. This is a 9,000% increase. In the winery case, Ilhan Omar's husband was accused of swindling investors out of $900,000. That case ended up being settled out of court. However, there are a lot of parallels between that case and the case involving meals to children. Not only with the dramatic spikes in revenue, but also despite having high net worths, both companies' addresses were linked to a WeWork, which for those of you who aren't familiar is a shared office space. And it's not just the business's revenue and net worth that has come into question, it's also Ilhan Omar's herself. When she first took office in 2019, she declared a net worth of between negative $25,000 and negative $65,000 and claimed to have no assets, but did have not only student debt, but also car debt. And now her assets are reported to be anywhere between $6 and $30 million. And this is just months after she denied being a millionaire. And to make matters worse, her campaign itself is also being linked to the Minnesota welfare scheme, including her campaign receiving $7,400 in direct donations from at least 3 now convicted fraudsters. However, Ilhan says that she returned the money after the scandal broke. But the problem is that she's also been linked to 2 other people who have been linked to this scandal as well. I'm sure we're just scratching the surface on this, and there's going to be more in the months and weeks to come. But let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Do you believe that where there's smoke, there's fire? Or do you think that this is just all coincidental?